Hi, everybody. I am just going to put the recording going here. I'm just going to do a little, this was the presentation that we did sort of across TNT about recruiting and attraction marketing. And I just want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see it. Because some people aren't in the areas where we do these meetings, then it makes it hard to kind of give this information out. And what we've been doing is gathering information and making sort of PowerPoint presentations so that we can have kind of consistent information go out to everyone. And that's kind of where this came from. The next one will then be about our trip to Chiapas, and I will do a little PowerPoint about that as well. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen here and go through the PowerPoint with you. I'll probably do a few different clicking around to some spots on the internet as we talk here as well. All right, recruiting basics. Make sure that I can fast forward. Okay, so we're going to talk about recruiting in sort of two ways. And I'll kind of show you what two ways I mean. But basically, what is recruiting? Some people don't even like that word recruiting. Basically, it's inviting someone to join you, right? And that's different for everybody. When I decided that I wanted to start recruiting, it's because I realized that just from my past and different careers and stuff, the thing that I really, really wanted to do was to lead a team. So recruiting to me was to kind of build a group of women together. But you need to know what that means to you, right? What are you looking for? If you want someone to join you, what are they joining for? What kind of person are they? And you need to know your story, right? The part that got really clear for me really fast was when I knew why I had joined, and then was able to kind of share that with people and share the passion I had for the reasons that I was part of Color by Amber. And once I started sharing that and knowing and they call it your why, right? Once I started knowing that, then I could share with more confidence, and sort of it's how you attract more people, right? And the people that kind of have that same story as you. And then some of the things to think about when you're recruiting, because some people don't want to, right? And that's especially with Color by Amber, the way it's set up, the structure, you don't have to be a recruiter. You can be a salesperson or just be someone who wears and shares it themselves and just kind of spread the story. But if you were to recruit, I want you to think about things like, what if your words changed a life, right? And what if being on a team and you leading them inspired and empowered them to do something better or different or change in their life? And what if that person whose words you kind of reached, what if they said yes? And that's something that I think people don't think about. They're like, I want to recruit, I want to recruit, I want to build a team, but they haven't thought maybe necessarily about what that's going to look like and what that means. Are you ready to be a coach? Are you ready to be a team leader? Are you ready for the extra little work it takes to make sure that your team's coming along with you? What if you met some lifelong friends? I have trouble remembering sometimes that those of you that are in CBA are people that I haven't actually known for a long time, because it feels like it. And I joke sometimes that between all the conferences and I actually think right now I see Jen Clyde more often than I see some of my family, because I see her every few months, right, with different conferences. So it's pretty exciting. What if you found out why they really wanted to join? We're going to talk about that a little bit too, about connecting on a personal level. And I know I made a joke the other day with my video where I said, especially online, right? You join a group to make connections, and you treat it just like you would treat anything you do in person, right? You wouldn't run into a group of people and go, Color Club is $39.95, right? You get to know them and start to offer information and tidbits of things that you think are relevant to them once you get to know them. It just comes out naturally, right? There's basically traditional recruiting methods and then creative recruiting. You can divide it into those kind of, I say like almost straight down the line. But the bottom line for all of it is you need to, what I just was talking about, you need to build the relationships, right? You need to tell them the opportunity and you need to share your story. I posted something today about you'll ask me, soon you're going to see where I am and ask me how I got there. And I'm going to say, I tried to tell you. It's frustrating sometimes because we have all these passionate, exciting ideas in us and we have nowhere to share them with. And that's kind of the basis of some of these recruiting skills, and especially the creative recruiting, is it gives you a place to kind of share that stuff. Traditional recruiting. This is coming up with your frank list, right? So you take a piece of paper and you write down 5 friends, 5 relatives, 5 acquaintances, 5 neighbors, and 5, you can say kids contacts or pet contacts or something like that. Anything that you kind of do that gets you out and about. So it might be a club that you're doing, but this is a very basic way of doing it, right? You write down 5 people that you can contact and their contact information if they're a warm contact or a cold contact. And this method really works for some people. And then for other people, this isn't kind of the way that they can recruit. But you do need to know that this is an option, because remember, if you're building a team, just because something works for you doesn't mean it works for everyone. So some people, this really, really works for them, and it helps kind of getting their brain flowing. Something that I do see working time and time again for people is to get out of those first 2 zones, the F and the R, because those aren't necessarily the ones that will be your long-term success. Hi, I have a child here in front of me. Can you go ask Daddy for some? Okay. You're calling and emailing to your potential stylists, cold market versus warm market, what I just talked about. You send them a script or a video. Trisha and Tekla have actually made a little video. I can show you that one that you could just send to someone. And then it's the whole follow-up. I'm going to make X amount of contacts in a day. I'm going to build a team. I'm going to train them and lead them. And I'm going to duplicate that. Hang on, I'm just going to get Daddy to help you here. Okay. Recruiting. So this can be anything. There isn't very many of you on the call here. And let me just see if anybody else added themselves. There's a few people. Say is Tracy, Mike, and Debbie. Like that very much. So here, if I had more of you on, what I would do is just share a story about creative recruiting. You'd like some apple slices if you can do that. There we go. So pop-ups and events. So these allow you to kind of gather names and make connections and offer information, right? So in this, the fortune is kind of in the follow-up, right? So you're going to these things to kind of make those connections and get to know people. You might even offer the opportunity, but what you have to do at these kind of things is you have to follow up, right? So if you're going to what is these guys? Hang on. I'm just gonna. I don't know why it's calling me Mike. This is definitely Sasha. Hi, Sasha. You know, 2 seconds. Okay, I'm just gonna get my girly. I'm gonna unmute you guys and you can chat for a sec here. I'm gonna unmute you all for 2 seconds and go over. Okay, you again. You know how to use the chat? There's a little chat button there. You guys can talk while I'm doing stuff too. Okay, I'm going back to my PowerPoint here. Okay, so when you're doing a pop-up an event, then I'm just going to say that again, is the fortunate is in the follow-up, right? So I did a show with Tracy this weekend, and we have a couple contacts there, and it actually didn't go really well. It was really, really slow. But remember that one lady, Tracy, in the yellow shirt? I need to follow up with her because, or you need to, because I think that there's something there. There's always something at a show. You just never know what it's going to be. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. They can hear me in the chat. I mean that they can hear. I can hear you. That's all I needed to know. See the PowerPoint? Share the screen. PowerPoint. Okay. Here we go. Attraction marketing. So this can easily be called the new way of recruiting. Okay. Here is why attraction marketing is really important for what we're doing, and it's because there are so many of us, and all of us are selling the same things. We all have the same promotions going on. We all have the same products to sell, right? So in attraction marketing, it's you that attracts the recruits. It's you that attracts the people because you are showing something and kind of sharing things that make people relate to you. This is what celebrities do. This is what some of the, and I've been like doing lots and lots of research on it, but this is what the higher echelons of lots of the different companies do. They do what is called attraction marketing. That is where you lead with you, right? So in the traditional marketing, you would talk about the opportunity and the company and all of that kind of stuff right away. I have this great opportunity for you, blah, 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 right? In attraction marketing, you aren't leading with the opportunity. You're leading with you as a person. And I say that's the easiest and hardest part about it, right? Is like you literally need to know who you are and what your story is. Why are you part of CBA, right? You need to know what things fire you up. Why are you doing CBA? Not just your goals and your plans, but why? Really, why? Are you attracted to the full circle story? Do you want to pay for your kids' classes? Do you want to? Are you career woman who would like to leave that career behind her? Are you, why is it? What is the thing that you can share with people that they'll relate to? Are you the clumsiest person on the face of the earth, but for some reason you find, do you know what I mean? It's like something about you that people will find a negative relation with. That's what you're kind of looking for. How do I find brand me? So if you know why you're doing it, then you're like, okay, what do I do with that? So if there are, like I said, 2,000 of us selling, you need to know what value you have to offer. So even within this, right? Like I know that lots of you could do this presentation as well as me or better than me. But it's always good to hear someone say something, right? There might be something that you sort of missed or they say it in a different way. Well, it's going to be the same thing with attraction marketing with you and CBA, right? yes, I know that every mom or every, I know that every family in BC probably went to the park today because it was like 17 degrees out. But I'm going to share that. I'm going to share our experience, and someone's going to relate with that that just kind of attracts them to me in a certain way. Even though everybody else is doing it, you still can offer what you're offering, and it's going to pique someone's interest, right? And they'll want to follow you as a person. They'll want to look at your posts every day because you offer, I don't know, maybe it's someone looking for funny and you're really funny, and so they come every day to read your funny, and it just like lights up their world, right? Think about the people that you follow. Who do you check in on, right? Who do you go and click on their posts every day? What sites do you check out every day? What is the attraction for you there? That's probably the same thing that people would be attracted about you. So you need to do a little research in that part. Believe in what you have to say has value, right? So you can say, oh, well, I'm going to post this picture of me baking these muffins, but like, what is that even going to do? Well, you have to believe that it has value. So you're going to post those muffins, you're going to post a recipe, and that recipe is going to be something that someone tries, and their son has been eating nothing for like weeks and weeks, and they're so stressed out, and you share this recipe, they make these muffins, their kid is eating, their whole world has changed. And I know that seems ridiculous, but seriously, that's what it's all about. And then they're going to start following you, and then they'll be like, what do you do exactly? Like, you always are so this and that, and that kind of that is what attraction marketing is. What they say to do is offer your information in thirds. So you need to kind of decide what your areas are. So for me, I kind of try to do motivational stuff. I do kind of hidden jewelry stuff, like fashion-y sort of stuff. And then I do just kind of a day in the life. And those are the three areas that I often post about. I don't deviate from that very often. And then it's like my own special twist on those areas, right? I guess the biggest thing is you have to be authentic, and it's not probably going to feel authentic at the beginning. You'll find your way in that, but when you post and connect with people, the thing that you need to remember is you need to be interactive with it, right? So you post something, someone says, oh, that's really funny, you need to talk to them again, right? I always say it's the equivalent of being somewhere in person, and you say something and someone talks to you back, and you just look at them blankly and don't answer and run away, right? You need to be interactive, so talk back and forth as much as you can, and not just like have a conversation as many times as they'll interact with you, and kind of ask questions, right? So you're seeking those connection opportunities. Oh, that's cool that you like those muffins. Do you bake very often? Do you have a recipe that you can share back with me? And you're making a connection, right? Do you remember when you're like little kids? That's how you make friends, right? Hi. I mean, my daughter goes, hi, do you want to be friends with me? Which I love, but not all kids do that. They kind of they seek the connection, right? Ooh, I have that truck. I like those trucks, right? And then, of course, you have to have fun. I have a lot of fun on social media. That's why I do it. I know it's a challenge for some people, and it feels like a waste of time for others. So there is other ways to do attraction marketing without actually doing the social media part. You can do this in person as well, right? Going to events and doing networking. Networking is attraction marketing. And again, you don't have to lead with your opportunity. You can lead with you. Okay, letting go of no. So you're trying to make these connections, and you've made them, and you are not just leading with the opportunity, but you're getting to know someone, and they still offer you a no, right? And that's okay. No doesn't always mean no forever. It just means no right now. But you kind of have to go for the no's, right? And at those times where you're like, I don't even know who to look for, you just have to ask anyone. Like literally, who have you made connections with, and you can offer them, make more connections. Did I make conversation or do a presentation? Did I listen to their needs and offer according to what would serve them and help them? So you've been talking to someone for a couple weeks, maybe they comment a lot on your stuff. you should ask what things you've learned about them, right? So it's fine that they've learned about you. They know your favorite muffins and they know that you went to the park, but have you learned anything about them? I'm thinking actually of one person that always comments on my stuff, and I don't know if she has children. And that's weird that I don't know that. I like to cyberstalk people, right? So if I were to offer her an opportunity at some point, I haven't learned enough about her, in my opinion, yet to do that. But that's something that you need to do, is kind of find what. I'm taking this Sonia Stringer training right now, and she talks a lot about this. It's the heart centered, right? So you're finding out what things they're looking for. Is it a mom that's got kids that are on their way out to university, and you're like, oh boy, do I have a way for you to make some money for them to have fun, you know, to spend, to send care packages to them. So it's knowing how to appeal to them. But first you need to get to know them. The no isn't personal or even necessarily final. And they say it can take up to 7 points of contact for a person to make a decision. Super true. There's several of us actually on our team that it took more than 7 points of contact for them to make a decision, and I don't even know if I even asked them ever, but definitely needed to get to know the product and just kind of watch the stuff that's going on in my life. Okay, so here are some action steps. If you want to go for the traditional means, you need to make a frank list, right? So I can go back to that slide and show you. It was the friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, and kids. Kids can be other things too, like clubs. Create a plan for your brand. There is so much free training on creating a brand out now. And attraction marketing too, but you don't need to pay for anything around this subject. There is so much free stuff. You can listen and listen and listen and listen and learn. One of my biggest tips is, if you have a business page, that it should have you as the profile picture. The jewelry is beautiful. Our jewelry is beautiful. And the other thing is to think about what you're presenting as your business page. And here's kind of the difference between maybe a business page or a group page, or kind of what audience you're going for. I do like your traditional fan page, because I'm looking for strangers, right? I have a group, and those are my VIP customers, but I do feel that is, you know, they go through phases. There's new catalog, they buy things like that. I try to add new people into that, but I'm looking for strangers. I'm looking to connect with people. I don't even have my Facebook page set as a jewelry store. I have it set as me being a public figure. That's just the way I wanted to go into it. But you could do anything. You could do personal. There's all sorts of different titles that you can grab. If you are just doing a jewelry store, then I still think you should have your profile picture as you. But if you're offering things there for them to buy because you are a store, then you need to go and you need to look at other businesses and how they're running their business page, right? If you're going to go back and forth between the attraction marketing and the business, the attraction marketing is about you. So everything on your page should be about you. Decide what venues you're going to be reaching out to people on, so whether it's pop-ups, or you're going to go to trade shows and events, or you're going online, and which platform. I'm trying really hard to learn Snapchat. I kind of get it, I kind of don't. I use Twitter, I use Instagram, I like Periscope, although I don't get it on it often, and the reason is because of what you just saw this evening. I thought for sure they were in bed, and they weren't, so it's hard for me to do live just because of that reason. Research and develop your script and story. And you don't even, it's just about knowing it yourself. It doesn't have to be a script so much, unless you're doing the more traditional, where you're contacting them and giving them the spiel. But you have to know your story, right? If you know it and why you're doing something, then that part comes easy. And then emulate the experts. So I have a few people that I watch and follow on a pretty daily basis. I log into their Facebook page and I borrow their ideas. I pretty much steal their ideas often. So why wouldn't you? It's social media, it's out there. There's so much stuff out there right now that you can just go and and they have paid big bucks to train how to do it. So there's no reason why you can't go out there and see what call it yoink. And that's the end of that slideshow. All right. Who we got here? To unmute you, Maria. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
You're unmuted.
Hi.
Hey.
Contacting here, I'm listening. I hear you know PowerPoint. Oh, there it is. Keeping in mind when contacting someone like the yellow shirt lady. I think I would eat. She gave me her email, Tracy. She gave us her email, so I think I would start just emailing her. Do you remember she said her friend would really enjoy, she thinks her friend would enjoy the stuff. So I would just email her a link to the catalog. That would be my first point of contact. Not try and sell her. You're on mute still, just so you know. Hi, Mariel.
Hi.
How are you? Hi, Debbie Beamer. Oh, you're muted too. Here, I'm
Uh-oh.
Am I muted? Can you hear me?
here, yeah. And there's Sasha. How come your mic?
I don't know. I changed my name to Sasha, but it didn't work, I guess. I don't know. Do I look like Mike?
You don't look like Mike. Oh, I have never met Mike, so I'm not sure. There's Debbie Beamer.
Hello.
Look at Tracy's the window. Maybe.
Tracy's the
Kind
window.
of a baby something. That's funny. Cool. I would love to hear, I'm still recording and we have about 3 minutes left, but if somebody has a cool recruiting story that they want to share, an interesting way they met someone maybe. Anyone?
I don't. So you two go ahead.
I have a good one actually about it has something to do, or it has the same to do with trade show follow-up actually, because I know a lot of people are always telling me that, you know, oh, I sent an email to that person that said they were interested and they never got back to me. And, you know, they're always saying, well, I'm not going to send anything else. But so what I did, I sent out, during our booking blitz actually, I sent out emails to just follow up, like just people that said they were interested in pop-ups. And one person said, yeah, let's do it. And then she signed up eventually as well. So, you know, that follow-up is key, even though maybe it doesn't happen right away, right? It was, I think I sent her a couple of messages actually, probably a couple of emails. So.
Yeah, like as long as it's not, I mean, super salesy. My favorite story is actually meeting you, Sasha. Do you remember how we met? How we got connected?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Sasha and I was part on the tag team stuff, and someone posted, and I didn't even follow the rules of what they asked. They're like, "Who does Facebook parties?" We jump in on them, and they meant like following the tag team formula, and I was just like, "I do them." I'll do a mock one for you guys. And it wasn't following the formula or anything, but a bunch of ladies jumped in, and we just did it as if it was like a real party going through. And that's kind of how Sasha and I met. And if I hadn't been following that group, so Take Team's an example, right? They're attraction marketing. I go and I look on their page every day to see what they're doing. Your row style stuff, right? Mariella is attraction marketing because you've created that group of women, and women just come every day and follow. Like when the tag team jumps on Periscope, they have like, I don't know how many thousands of people that hop on to watch them have a margarita moment, right? Like they're the queens of attraction marketing. You got to watch what they're doing and steal their stuff, right? It's great. But you can, yeah. So that I jumped in on that one and didn't even follow the rules, but it turned out really well. And there's actually a few other ladies that are, because we added each other as friends then, so that I could invite them to my mock party because I wanted to make it a secret. I kind of had like a plan, right? I'll get everybody to add me as friends. And there's lots of those ladies that still follow like on my page and buy stuff. And yeah, so it was a lucrative little thing that happened there. And I got to.
You just never know.
Yeah, you just, yeah.
So it's funny because you guys probably already know my story. It's funny because 2 years ago, I had like what's that word? Like didn't know about direct selling, how to do it.
Yeah.
And I actually just stumbled upon attraction marketing. And honestly, I didn't even hear about
a name.
Yeah, until
that has a name?
Well, maybe until just now. And honestly, it just started with something that I enjoy doing because you know, when you enjoy something like me, mine was more like fashion and outfits and, you know, all that stuff. So I actually, my headband's like slipping. So I actually just started a group with the intention of just, you know, kind of doing that. But then, you know, I started getting a following, and then every day you have people joining, and you're like, you know, 500 members, and then 1,000, and we're up to like almost 8K right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But, you know, we've created this awesome community where, you know, we all bond with the same, you know, and, you know, it's a lifestyle group. So we talk about everything and anything. But I mean, and then that's the key though, is that, you know, people follow or they trust you, or, you know, you get their interest. So anything that you say or you present, they're like, oh, what's that? You know?
Yeah.
So, and you build relationships. I'm like, for me, that's the biggest thing that I've learned throughout this whole experience with direct selling, because I think I have just a little bit of advantage because I was in the Air Force and I was an enlisted recruiter. So I went, yeah, I was. So, but it's a different kind of recruiting.
Totally.
But I did go to one of the best selling schools because, you know, as an Air Force recruiter, we have to basically convince these 17, 18-year-olds to sign away 4 years of their life to join the military. And it was very, you know, it was hard. You know, you really had to listen to them and then offer whatever we had in the Air Force to tailor to them.
Right.
You know, so if, let's say for example, if someone was trying to join because they needed money, you wouldn't tell them, oh, you know what, you get to go to school for free, you know, but that's not something that they're interested in. So that's one thing that I've learned, is that you got to listen to the people that you're talking to.
Right.
Or, you know, because obviously with Color by Amber, we have different kinds of things to offer. So when we are looking for groups or looking for ways to attract, you got to know who you're dealing with. You know, someone who is not into fashion, you know, may not be interested, but then if they're into the eco-friendly or the sustainable, or then you play that part. You know, you don't sit there and say, oh, this is so cute with this kind of bag. They're not going to listen to you.
No, and keep talking about the bag. Like, stop talking about the bag already. They're
right. You don't. You're just kind of falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I have learned, that I think it's super important for anybody who is trying to recruit anybody, is to kind of listen to the other person who's right in front of you. You want to, because you have something. You know, we're problem solvers. That's what we are. So they have a problem, you solve it, but you solve it the right way. The right stuff.
All of your information helps you tailor then to the person that you're talking to, right? So if you know everything about the eco-friendly part and the full circle part and the fashion part, then you can like tailor your connection to someone else.
And that's super, and that's what I think is super important too, is that I like to say the word super, but it's super important that you are educated in your product.
Yeah.
Because the more you know, the more different aspects of the product that you know, the more powerful you are as far as trying to figure out how to tailor the information that you're going to give them. You know, if you only know like the fashion side, then you are limiting yourself to the people that you can attract. You know, so if you're just focused on like, oh my gosh, look at these colors, they go good with this kind of outfit, then you're only focusing on that one, you know, kind of people.
Yeah.
That, you know, just fashion. So you're kind of limiting your stuff.
Chocolate.
Ha!
Go ahead, buddy.
Another child.
He asked for chocolate when I'm busy.
That's what you give them. I give mine apples.
Go ahead.
I think that in pop-ups too, like we do the, you know, there's a formula to follow, but you still have to you have to see where your audience is taking you, right?
Right.
And on Facebook, right? Like there's all of those statistics. Like I can post something and there's crickets, right? So there's no point in keep posting that. My audience doesn't like those posts.
Right.
Right? You need to find a different place where they do, or they love these certain posts. Well, capitalize on that. keep posting
Yeah.
in those areas.
And that's the thing. It's like it's kind of like a trial and error, like with the groups. You know, some days you'll get, you know, you'll post something and you get nothing. And then, you know, you want to switch up your subjects because, you know, you're dealing with, you know, like right now I have like, say, 200 plus people in my group. That's 200 different personalities and 200 different kinds of interests.
Yeah.
So you got to switch it up, you know, because if you're just constantly doing one thing, just like, you know, the same post, then you're going to lose maybe half
That's
of your
right.
group.
Right, for retention wise. Totally.
Yeah.
Very good points.
That's my 2 cents.
I like that 2 cents. Okay, I'm going to push stop on the recording here. This is awesome. Post this for everybody. Debbie, anything to add? See your face, I miss you.
I know. We miss you guys too. It's funny. I appreciate the comments about expanding your knowledge because for me, I know why I like Color by Amber, and it's all about the eco-friendly, blah, blah, blah. And then I got down here into the States, and this group of women that I've been talking to here in Arizona, they're like, eco-friendly, what? And like, they could care less about it. And I'm like, what? So I'm realizing I got to be able to talk about the other stuff. So it's interesting to realize that. It's not all about what I'm thinking. It's you got to be open for everybody. So it's a good lesson for me to learn, for sure.
Oh, that's interesting. So are they more into like the fashion part of it or like it's pretty?
Some of that too, but there's a lot of tentativeness about it. Like, and I don't know if it's just the direct selling thing in general, like, but it's just, they're just kind of, it's like they're polite with me, and that's about it. There's not, and I mean, I just haven't obviously found the right demographic, I guess. So,
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay.